What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing our first tutorial video on how to do an FG knot, also known as a fine grip knot. Now, I'm sure you're asking, why do I use a FG knot, or why does anybody use a FG knot? So a FG knot has a very high breaking point, which means that it's a very strong knot. It's actually one of the strongest leader knots that you could tie. So that's a big plus. Also, this knot has a very small profile, which makes it a little bit less visible to fish, which is a plus. And also, which is a bigger plus for a low profile knot, is that it's easy to cast. Now, castability with a knot goes a long way. When you have that knot coming through your guides, both when you're casting and when you're retrieving, you really want that small profile, and that's the two big reasons why I use the FG. I'm sure some of you are wondering what setups I use the FG knot on. I actually use this knot on 99.9% of all my setups. Whether it's the ultra light stuff that have 8-pound test main line and I'm using 15-pound test fluorocarbon leader, and that's like bonefish setups, or right up to tuna setups where I'm using 100-pound test or 80-pound test main line and 150-pound test leader for very big fish. So I use it across the entire board for the most part. There are rare occasions when I'm really particular about a fish, like when I went for that yellowfin tuna in Grenada. In that case, I like to tie the salty water tackle twisty leader, and that's specifically for using top water lures or sinking lures and just casting. Before I move on to tying this knot, I just want everybody to know there are many different variations to this FG knot. If you go online, you could see multiple different ways to do it, and I'm going to show you the way that I learned to do it, and the little tweaks I've done to it is just things that I've found to work for me over time. With that said, all variations of the FG knot pretty much do the same thing. It's essentially a series of half hitches that bite down into the leader and secure that main line to the leader. This is enough talking. Let's move on to tying this knot. Alright guys, so for the purpose of making this tutorial video, I'll be using 8-pound test monofilament leader, 65 main line as the braided main line, crazy glue, lighter, and a snippers. And the snips will be used for cutting the main line or the tag line or the leader. Now, a good thing to note is that if you're on a boat, you actually don't need 1, 2, or 3 of these items. Even though they would help, all you need is these two, and if you have a knife to cut the line, whatever excessive leader or tag line you may have, then that's fine. So because I'm home, I'll be using these additional items to make my life a little bit easier and make the knot a little bit neater, just because I have the time and I'm going to do a little bit more extra for you guys. So we're going to start off by choosing our leader length. That's up to your discretion. You could use how much leader you need, however much you want. I normally use about an arm's length and a half, depending on what I'm doing and what I'm fishing for. Next, we'll be using the main line, and this will be, of course, attached to your reel, which goes through your rod tip. I recommend tying it through your rod tip, just because when you load your rod tip with the main line coming through it, it does a very good job at keeping that knot nice and tight throughout the tying of it. Okay, so this is how we're going to start. This is our main line here. This is our tag line. So this is the line going to our rod tip, and we're going to load against it at all times while tying the knot. We're going to make an X with the leader, putting it on top, and we're going to start doing alternating half hitches. So tag line goes over, pull it tight. Main line goes under, pull it tight. Tag line goes over, main line goes under. Over, under, over, under, right? Now, you're doing that about 6 times, and you're doing 3 sets of 6, so a total of 18. I wasn't counting this one, I don't remember what it was, so we're just gonna bring it together. Main line, tag line together. I bite onto the monofilament, and I pull it down tight so that the half hitches bite into the leader itself. right? So that's what it's looking like. Now we're gonna continue 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You guys could all see that. And we're gonna pull it tight again. Right, so we're going for another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you can see, that's what we're looking at right now. Alternating half hitches, and we're going to pull down that last one tight. So I'm biting onto the leader, I'm holding these two together, and I'm moving it back and forth and tightening it up, okay? Now once you've done your 18, some people do more, some people do a little bit less. I say 18 should be the minimum. If you want to do a next set of 6, well, that's fine. If you want to take it up to 24, I normally do 18. So next, we're going to take the leader, tagline of the leader, and the main line, and we're going to put them together. So the two are coming together like this. Next, taking the tagline, and you're doing alternating half hitches over both the tagline of the monofilament and the main line. So that's one over, and you want to pull it tight. You want to bite it if you could. Bite this line and pull it tight. Then we're going alternating. So over, under, under, over, over, under, under, over, and you do this around 6 times, could be good. Some people do it 8. I definitely recommend not doing it less than 6 times, so 6 to 8 is good. I normally use 6, and you want to pull that down really nice and tight. Okay, that hurt my teeth. Now, can you finish this knot here? Yes, you can. Do you ideally want to? I mean, for the most part, I'm gonna be honest with you, 80% of the time I do tie these knots, and this is where I finish it. Especially when I'm on the boat and I'm rushing, most of the time I don't really like to spend a lot of time tying the knots and perfecting it. But it's very important that you take it to at least what I did for you right now. Now, if you want and you have the time, how you could finish this really nice and neat is to finish with a nail knot, and I'll show you how that goes. So you're gonna put it over, just like the same half hitch, but instead of going over once, you're gonna come through 4 times over the loop. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm gonna hold that there so you guys can see. So you made the loop, and you go through 4 times. Now, you take the tagline of the braid, pull it down a little bit, hold it right here, and you're gonna reverse this now with the braid. So we're gonna go back, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're gonna be left with this loop here. And I'm gonna pull this down tight. This is the tagline. Pull from the tagline of the braided line. Bite onto it. Pull that tagline nice and tight. And this is what your FG should look like. Now, once that's done, you definitely wanna take your main line and your monofilament, whatever fluorocarbon leader, and you want to pull it as hard as you can, all right? Obviously, if you're using lighter stuff, you don't want to pull it until you break it, but you want to pull it pretty hard, because the knot needs to bite into the lead itself, and it needs to pull on tight, and it may slip a millimeter or 2 here just while it's settling into the leader. Now, once that's done, pull this main line back, take your clippers, and you're gonna cut not too close to the knot, just a little bit up. and you're going to be left with a small amount of leader hanging out there. Now for the main line, you could put that to the side. The tagline of the braided line, you could cut that as close as you like. I need to get a better clippers is what I need. All right. So this is essentially what you're left with. Now, this is where the lighter comes in. And the lighter is to make a mushroom on this top of this monofilament so that the knot can't slip off the edge. So let's go. Take a little bit of saliva, take a little bit of water, whatever you need, wet it. Make sure your main line is away from it. Put your fingernail, whatever you need to do. Just make sure and don't burn that braided line. And you just make a small mushroom. Make sure it's nice and close without damaging that braided line. There you go. Right. For the final touch, you can put a little bit of glue, and the only place you need this glue is right at the edge here where those last half inches where that nail knot was. I do not recommend putting it along the entire knot because it makes the entire thing stiff. That makes it a lot more difficult to cast when it goes through your guide, so you don't want to do that. All right guys, that is your FG knot Bretsky style. Like I said, there's many different variations of this knot. This is just the way that I tie it. It's a bit of what I was taught, and then other people taught me different ways, and I kind of tied the two together and kind of tweaked it to my own personal liking, and this is the end result. So if you guys want to tie this knot Bretsky style, this is how you do it. It's very important that you keep this knot very tight through each and every step. Otherwise you risk the potential of it slipping. You do not want this slipping on a fish of a lifetime, trust me. I've had this happen a lot of times in the past. That's why I know how to do it now. I have no issues tying the FGA. I could tie it very fast, very proficiently on a boat. It took some time, obviously. If you guys never saw this knot before, don't use it. I definitely recommend starting to use it. What I also recommend is that we're all in quarantine and you're home. You should practice this several times and get it really good before you get out on the boat. Because you don't want to be making mistakes on the boat, and you don't want to be wasting additional time on the boat when giant fish are blowing up in every direction. And we all know that likes to happen exactly when you need to tie a knot or you need to do something. So perfect this before heading out. We all have a lot of time on our hands, folks. Make yourself busy, keep yourself occupied. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did enjoy it and you did find it helpful, please let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you want to see more tutorials about different knots I tie or different tackle that I have and how I use it. And maybe I can get around to doing some in the next couple of days. We'll see how things go. Alright folks, y'all keep safe and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.